What is up, guys? Eric here from Real Film Reviews, bringing you another movie review, this time for the new Steven Soderbergh film, Logan Lucky. Logan Lucky stars Channing Tatum, Adam Driver, and Daniel Craig. It tells the story of a family of the last name of Lucky. Adam Driver seems to think that their family is cursed because bad things keep happening to them. Every single member of their family can't seem to catch a break. So Channing Tatum, after losing his job, decides that he's going to rob a NASCAR speedway because he knows how the money is moved. So him and Adam Driver sort of put together this ragtag team to rob this speedway, and that's generally the plot of the film. Most of this is happening because Channing Tatum's character has a daughter that he doesn't get to see very often, and he needs to make sure that he can be there for her. Now, the best part about this film is pretty obviously, I feel like, the script. It's a really original story that isn't really like much else I've ever seen before. All of the characters feel very fleshed out. They all have weird little quirks to them that all really work really well. And then along with that, the performances are honestly just pretty much great across the board in this film. Channing Tatum continues to prove that he's more than just like a pretty face who can play someone stupid. He's actually a really talented actor. Adam Driver, as always, is phenomenal in this film. His character is sort of this very quiet, droll person, as opposed to Channing Tatum's a little more active character. And then Daniel Craig plays this like crazy hillbilly dude who blows stuff up, and he's so funny. He's nothing like any Daniel Craig I've ever seen in a film before, which was really cool to see him in a role like that. And I honestly think all three of these guys really sold this film, and if you were gonna see it, you should really see it just for the three of them. Putting this film in sort of like small town America also helped a lot because they're all from West Virginia, so they have this great pride about where they're from, and they're going to rob somewhere across state lines. So West Virginia is sort of their home, but the fact that they sort of all live where they went to school and it's this very small town makes it so there's lots of funny little interactions that can be seen throughout the film between these people who have basically known each other their whole lives because they all grew up there together. So there's lots of funny script moments, but also funny character interactions that happen throughout the film because people run into each other, and just because they're in a small town, they sort of just know everyone. And then the family part is so important to the script of this film. The fact that they're brothers, the fact that they're trying to help Channing Tatum so he can help his daughter, all of these things play a big part in this movie, and family was so important to the script that it actually made for a pretty heartfelt film. There's one scene in particular in this movie that like, I was like almost gonna cry in the theater because it was like so heartwarming and sweet, and I really loved it. And I was really surprised by that because this was supposed to be sort of a heist film. It's Soderbergh, so you don't really know what type of movie you're getting into until you watch it, but unlike the Ocean's films, which are very flashy, this movie has a much more grounded sort of state to it. It feels very real, and I don't think real is maybe the right word because it obviously is very like hyped up, but it's a very just plain film. Like, all of the characters feel like real, normal people that you could meet if you went to a small town in West Virginia. And I really enjoyed that aspect because it made everything in the film that much more grounded in reality, so that way you could become that much more attached to these characters since they weren't these like overly flashy, you know, pristine bank robbers or casino robbers like the Ocean's films. It felt way more just normal. The movie's also directed very well and edited very well, especially in the extremely climactic sequences. Everything is handled to a T. Nothing looks bad, every single shot has its point, and it also moves very succinctly. It doesn't feel like there's wasted time when it's a very fast-paced, explosive sort of sequence. And while the editing and direction in the film were really good, I feel like that's kind of one of the main issues, is the pace of the film. It never feels boring, but there are times where the pacing sort of goes really fast, and then other times where it feels like it slows down too much, where it needs to keep progressing. Even though the film is sort of at a point that is a standstill, it needs to feel like it's moving forward. But there were times where it was moving overly fast and it felt like we could have used a little extra screen time for one sequence, and then other sequences were kind of dragged out a little longer than they needed to be. And then one small thing that doesn't hurt the film at all, but I just personally found really weird, was the fact that they hired some very talented actors to have extremely small roles in this film. The main example that I'd give is Hilary Swank. You know, like a multiple Oscar winner has a role in this film that isn't really there for almost like 2/3 of the movie, and then when she is there, she's not really playing that big of a part in the story. She is in the film, she has some good scenes, and overall she's fine as a performance, but I just thought it was odd that they would spend the money, I guess, to hire her for such a sort of small role in the film that doesn't play that big of a part in the story. And then along with the pacing, I would say there's also some things that needed to be better explained. While the film has an extremely interesting storyline and really original characters, there are moments where things are sort of just brushed over, and they're things that are pretty important, like what you need to know for how something happens, because obviously I don't want to spoil anything that happens in the film, but there are certain moments that happen that are just sort of like, one line, and then we're just supposed to agree that that's fine, and that kind of bothered me because I would have liked more detail. I'm gonna give Logan Lucky a B. This is a cool heist movie that has really fun, down-to-earth characters that are honestly all portrayed extremely well, especially those main three being Channing Tatum, Adam Driver, and Daniel Craig. If you like other films, sort of like the Ocean's movies, I would check this out, but I really think this film is almost more comparable to like a Coen Brothers kind of like dark comedy, like Fargo or something, so if you like those movies, I would definitely recommend this. Well guys, as always, I'm Eric. If you enjoyed this video, please do like, subscribe, comment down below what you thought of Logan Lucky, share everything we do on Real Film Reviews, and I hope to see you guys later.